Hey peeps, Hamster Sales here with another commentary. It's going to be a ZVP on Metalopolis, spawning as Red Zerg against the Blue Protoss. My opponent, Gosu ZG, is his name, sitting in the cross position, 12 o'clock position. I'm down here in the 6 o'clock. We wish each other good luck, have fun, and I ask my opponent if the ZG in his name refers to Zul'Gurub from World of Warcraft, the popular dungeon both from Classic and now revived in Cataclysm. He says no, smiley face, not that ZG. Give a LOL, tongue smiley face back in response. Opponent throwing down his pylon before going out to scout. He wants to know who Zul'Gurub may be. I tell him it's a WoW thing. A little bit of banter back and forth with my opponent to start the game. It's always fun. Keep it fun. He says he plays Zerg, by the way, explaining the ZG, I guess, is a abbreviation of sorts for Zerg, Gosu Zerg. Keeping the banter up, I ask, why choose Toss? Why choose Toss if you're a Zerg? I think he says just mixing it up or something like that. A game I played about an hour ago, I think. It was a fun game, decided to cast it. Since my last cast, I'm pretty much famous now. I actually got one response in a forum on Husky Starcraft's website where I promoted my channel. Somebody actually watched one of my videos and said I was a bit monotone but had good game sense, which I appreciated as feedback. I'm going to try to sound less monotone but keep up the good game sense. So now he asks who is Zul'Gurub. I think I prematurely told everybody that I answered that for him. It's a troll dungeon, troll-based dungeon in World of Warcraft. So yeah, I got a comment from that guy. I'm going to try to sound less monotone now, maybe a little more excited. After all, this is Starcraft, a lot to be excited about. And somebody else asked why did I have to split one of my videos. I'm having to split almost all my commentaries as YouTube is not letting me post anything longer than 15 minutes. Perhaps because this is a new account. I do actually have an older account with most of my subscriptions, favorites, and everything. Decided to do all my casting under a newer account, but as a result I'm not getting any kind of length to my videos. He thought it was cool that Zul'Gurub was a troll dungeon. I thought that was being way too nice. I informed him that is much more nerdy than it is cool. But nerdy is its own kind of cool nowadays. So nothing wrong with that comment from him, I don't find. Not yet blocking his ramp with any kind of zealot. His first zealot is yet to pop at the 4-minute mark. Not sure if that's a late zealot. I honestly don't know the timings well enough to comment on that. So my drone is completely unharassed in here with no zealot or anything to chase it around, not electing to chase it with a probe. That's fine. I actually normally chase the scouting probe around my base. I think that's what I was doing with this guy. Yeah, this Zergling got the kill on his scouting probe. This drone was helping in pursuit, but has not been given any new orders as of yet. Hopefully I get to that at some point. Seeing the little idle drone icon in the lower left. This drone is free to actually pinch away at the gateway here. Claw away at the gateway, I suppose you could say. Check out those nice little lobster claws. I was looking at the drones recently, and as far as StarCraft 2 units go, I find them a little lacking. I don't really know what's going on with all the webbing here. Are they flying? I never really pictured them as flying units in the first StarCraft, but maybe that's just a revelation in StarCraft 2, as his first stalker picks off my scouting drone. Yeah, maybe that's just what's going on. They're kind of floaty little lobster worker guys. I always just thought they were kind of insectoid crawly dudes, but clearly they're just kind of floating off the ground with that webbed legging of theirs. But that's beside the point. Early game here, there's still a bit to describe though. After he kills my scout, he goes for a Robo Bay after 3 gateways. If I had known that was going on, I probably would be expecting aggression at this point. I'm not keeping an eye on his expo, so I don't have the best idea what's going on. I have these overlords spread out. These 2 expos, that's somewhat useful, though not for this early stage of the game. I believe I'm sending these Zerglings out. I think I got the standard 4 Zerglings or so. Finally going to be sending those to watchtowers, get some vision on the middle of the map. Just so you guys know, I did choose this game to cast because there's some good action in it. I think both good things that myself and my opponent do. I don't have any tabs up, haven't had this whole game. Let's see what's going on. Production tab, I have I have layer going up. I have 2 Evo chambers throwing down. Pretty ballsy of me, really, to get these Evo chambers. You don't really want to get that unless you know nothing's coming to attack you. Usually a better idea to drone or get an army. But I've elected to get those. Early upgrades is never a bad thing, I suppose. Something I've been trying to do lately with my play as a Zerg is just really keep an eye on my injects. I really want to keep that going. What you want to do is have an individual hotkey for a queen at each hatchery. I usually keep 2 at my expansion. So right there, yeah, right on the inject. I'm happy to see that. Not quite as fast as the one on the main, but yep, just a few seconds later, and that's pretty good, especially at this level of play, if I do say so myself. I'm not always on it. If you've listened to my other videos, you know I don't like to brag or anything, but that is pretty good injecting right there, something you want to concentrate on. So my opponent is getting some Immortals in his army. It's a Stalker heavy army, few Zealots, good unit mix, and he is moving out at 56 food to my current 37. So if he were right in my base, I would be in some serious trouble, but luckily as Zerg, what we get to do is spot this army moving out, the Ling on the watchtower giving good vision in the middle of the map, and I'm just going to produce a ton of units. 8 roaches on the way right now. Going to try to keep up on my inject. Yep. One thing I've been working on is when you see a push, you actually probably want to prepare for reinforcements more than you want to position your army for the attack. So first thing, prepare for reinforcements. Second, get your army in position, especially if you see them early like I did here. You want to get your units in position second, only after preparing for the counterattack, and I've done that by making sure I was getting some supply. I'm getting an extra overlord here and getting my injects going. And I'm able to take out that observer. I believe I have a spore crawler in the area, but I can't. Oh, my queens are sitting on top of it. So the spore crawler able to take out that observer. I usually just get these at some point for potential DT harass. I've almost never been harassed by DTs, but I watch enough games and just know enough about Protoss that it's a possibility for sneaky attack of them. So he's at 73 food. I don't remember what he was at when he moved out, but he got a pylon here for reinforcements. But I'm ready for this. A healthy number of roaches. I've got some static D. It's going to be poking away primarily at Zealots. Transfuse on that queen. That's a good move there. Front line of Zealots, as I always mention, the Protoss army, once you get those down, do much better against all these range guys. They really don't stack up very well cost effectively against roaches. Sniping that Immortal, some good focus fire from me. And he is going to fall despite having a good unit mix against my roach composition. It looks like I'm going to be able to clean this up, at least with reinforcements. It's going to push the attack, however. He's got 7 Stalkers now firing on my only 2 roaches, but reinforcements coming in. An extra Immortal, you had to run this guy all the way down. Can't work get him in, so he made the long trip to join this battle. Gonna try to take off my exposed natural here, but reinforcing roaches coming in here. I'm in good shape. That guy for some reason really doesn't like Arcturus Minks, but he's gonna move in here, gonna try to take out my expansion once again. Only engaging with 2 roaches, that's not a good move. Gonna get some more reinforcements together though and pile onto these Stalkers. Probably could have focused my hatchery down. Difficult to do in the midst of battle, managing reinforcements, as you Protoss players are known to do. Queen getting in on the action in the defense, move her out of the way though, that Immortal. Roach is going to be able to clean this up, and I have survived his push on 1 base. I'm sitting on 2 bases. How am I doing for harvesters? Only 29 harvesters, so he attacked at a pretty good time. I haven't been droning very heavily, which is kind of disappointing, but he's not been at a huge economic disadvantage at this time. I do have more bases, so I'm going to be getting a little bit more income with my only 3 more harvesters, but I'm at maybe 30% higher income, 750 to 960. Okay, maybe 20-something percent. But that was a good time for him to attack because he wasn't hugely economic behind, and he almost killed my natural. I would say that attack would have been a big success had he killed it, but now that I've fended off this attack, I'm able to drone up. Hopefully I'm going to be doing that. Getting some more units for some reason. Don't really need units at this point. There we go, 6 more drones on the way. Currently sitting on 34, going to bring me to 40 drones. Something I probably should have had earlier. Of course, it's going to be different when you get a heavy attack like that. I've got 2 extractors here for no reason. I sometimes get my extractors when I've supply capped myself so I can get 2 drones out and then just have the extractors when I need them. Hopefully that's what I've done here. So still got 1 queen at the natural, 1 at the main. Often after fending off attacks, Zerg will lose queens and not reproduce them, but you want to do that as soon as you can to get back on your injects. Sometimes the hotkeys get messed up, or the one you had hotkeyed for your main ends up in your natural, so that's something we have to deal with as Zerg, but something we'll all get better at. So I'm moving in here to see if he has an expo. I do spot it with his Zergling. See that he has a decent sized force outside. He is not getting too many more harvesters though. He really needs to be doing that to prep for his expo. Is he getting any additional tech? No, still sitting on the one robo. Has 3 gateways. Probably like to see at least a 4th gateway from what I know of Protoss from this guy, but not, you know, he's keeping his money pretty low, so I guess that's not a big deal. Starting to spread creep out across the map. This is a pretty decent creep spread. Always want that for the vision it provides you and the increased movement speed. Just getting kind of stagnant on tech. It looks like I do have a Hydra Den. I like that. Haven't gotten any Hydras yet into my army. Very gas heavy unit. And I'm not even yet producing on these geysers. I really need to be extracting all the gas I can from those. But I am getting my 3rd at 1540. Timing a bit delayed because of his push. And what am I doing here? I think I'm droning like crazy. No, getting 10 more roaches. So I guess that's not the worst idea. I'm not doing this in response to an army though. I don't like that. One thing we can always do as Zerg is pool tons of larvae, keep a big supply cushion with extra overlords, and then when you see the attack, that's when you produce your army. That's what I did this time when I had vision of this watchtower. That's what I did the first push, which I really liked. But here I'm just building roaches blind, just because I guess I felt like my army was too low. But as Zerg, you can kind of just hold off on producing the army, especially if you're keeping decent vision of the map like I am. I have Overlord pooping creep, denying his 3rd. This creep going to prevent a Protoss or Terran player from throwing down command center, Nexus. So that's something you always want to do at their 3rd. It'll at least delay for a minute, and of course let you know that they're building the 3rd. It's a very good attack target if you do want to get aggressive. I, as you may have noticed, play a very passive defensive Zerg. I concentrate what skill I have on trying to macro up, getting a good unit composition, try to scout effectively. I'm doing that pretty well with these overlords across the map, Zergling on the watchtower, big creep spread. So he's pushing out again, very similar army, bigger than last time, 101 supply, but I am already at 140 and producing 9 Hydralisks when I see this army. I do like the Hydras against a Immortal heavy army. Immortals tend to not really stay very far back of their Stalker counterparts, so even if you're not microing very well, your Hydras will inevitably take a lot of shots at them, and Hydras are not going to do too much reduced damage against the Immortal shields. They'll do their 10 damage, and they shoot very quickly, so they're quite effective. Alright, going to be engaging here. Stalker's taking their shots. Zealots not in the front with a couple Zealots he has, so that's not very good. Roaches are going to destroy them once they do make their way to the front. In the meantime, his range taking a lot of damage from these Hydras and Roaches. Hydras just do so much damage, going to be melting this Protoss army. Spinecrawlers morph in at my 3rd. Built those preemptively before I knew about the attack. Going to be wiping his army off the map. And I've taken down a couple of pushes here. I don't know if I like that 2nd push of his. As at 101 supply, he lost his first push, and I don't think had really saturated his natural. Yeah, he really just moved his workers once he was mined out. So that's not the best time to move out. You know, maybe if one was true and the other wasn't, if he had low supply, but he had just saturated with a ton of workers, maybe that would have been a good time. I'm going to be moving in here with what's going to be a death blow, just no units to stop my push. He GG's, leaves the game. And that's going to be that. I hope that was a fun Zerg versus Protoss. With these casts, I'm really going to try to be a bit more animated. One of those loving comments I actually got from what few viewers I have, I really did appreciate it though. Some guy named Eagle something on Husky's website. I really appreciate it, buddy. So yeah, give me some feedback. You'll get a semi shout out, as I just gave that Eagle dude from Husky's website. And in general, I just really appreciate any feedback I get for these. They've been really fun to do. I'm going to work on making them fun to listen to as possible. And yeah, the focus is going to be on playing as Zerg, but I'm also going to analyze what my opponents do of the different races. I'm primarily probably going to be casting inter-race matchups. I don't really like the Zerg mirror. So until next time, don't be monotone, listen to your viewers, and have good games.